That looks ominous. The way they're just standing there, what the hell? Not even looking at each other. Wow, this is some cargo hold, huh? Okay, bye. It's so big! Uh-huh. This plane is a special model. It has both a super large cargo hold and ultra luxurious first class seating. I can't imagine Edgeworth saying super large for some reason. I feel like he would say gigantic or enormous, but not super large. Anyway. So this is the real scene of the murder. There is certainly a high probability of that, which is why we are here, correct? Okay, let's get investigating, sir. Alright. Bedsheets, how suspicious. Holy suitcases, Mr. Edgeworth. It looks like all you can use suitcase fare. I fucked up that line. These must be all the leftover ones they couldn't sell. What was the company is planning to dispose of after this flight is over? This paint job's really cool, don't you think? It practically screams artsy. Oh, I've not purchased one then. I'm sure it will bring you much happiness. You think so? And maybe I will. Let's see here. $1,200? I think I'll pass. And Mr. Nero wonders why they don't sell. You need 2 jobs just to buy one. Although, it definitely looks like one is missing. What is this brittle substance I'm stepping on? It's a bunch of glass fragments. These bedsheets are suspicious. Keeping track of this many pieces of cargo must be very taxing on the cargo crew. This sure brings back memories of when I worked as a part-time mover, sir. By the look in his eyes, he's willing for me to ask about the rest of his story. No matter how he pours on the puppy eyes, I have no intention of doing so. Edgeworth, come on. Don't be mean to Gumshoe. Can you look up what I'm trying to look at, please? I didn't know that this plane was capable of carrying such large pieces of cargo. This thing's as tall as 2 of you on top of each other, sir. It would probably take 20 of you to cover the entire surface of this monstrosity. What, really? Yeah, I guess that sounds about right. There's really no need to take that throwaway estimate seriously, Detective. Hey, what's in that suitcase, pal? It's what the victim checked in, sir. So, the suitcase belonged to Mr. Hicks. I don't believe he'd mind if we take a closer look. There's nothing out of the ordinary in here, sir. Wait, a file? And there's a photo of Miss Von Karma in it, sir. It looks like a profile on Francisco. Why would Mr. Hicks have a file on her? All sorts of boxes are piled up here. I've got all sorts of boxes are piled up here. This one says flammable, and this one says it's pharmaceuticals. This one says for exorcism use only. What kind of operation is this airline running? Is that it? Oh, there's an elevator. Oh, I just love pushing the buttons on elevators and crosswalk signals. Here, you should give it a try, sir. Go on, push it. The elevator is currently stopped on the 1st floor, Detective. It can't move. Oh yeah, I guess nothing would happen if you pushed it now. Well, nothing would happen normally anyway without the special keycard. Move the doors to the attendant's room and the elevator control panels. Acquire a keycard which makes it impossible for the passenger to come down here. Yes, we talked to Francisco. You arrived at the scene of the crime before Detective Gumshoe, correct? And you then immediately began to direct the investigation. It seems to me that you were already here at this airport for something besides this murder. Yes, I was. I've been following a very large and involved governmental-level international crime. It is much too large for one person to take on alone. So it was decided that I should form a joint investigation with Interpol. Interpol is involved. It's a top-secret operation, so I really can't tell you any more than I already have. I showed her... Oh, I guess there's nothing I can show her. Show her this. That's the victim. It's infuriating to see him crumpled on the floor like that in the office. I will catch the one who did this to him myself, I swear it. Francisco's really worked up over the victim. Can I deduce anything? Broken glasses, glass shards. I think we can safely conclude that these fragments are from a pair of glasses. The victim was wearing a pair of broken glasses. Exactly what I was thinking. I'm sure that the shards would match up perfectly with the remnants of these glasses lens. Ergo, the victim was here, just as I suspected. So you're saying that the real scene of the crime was here, sir? Isn't that what I've been saying for a while now? Oh, is it? Oh, I didn't know that. Perhaps it's a bit early to draw that conclusion. However, I do believe that the probability has just skyrocketed considerably. All that's left is to find the murder weapon. Now, why would Mr. Hicks have documents profiling Francisca? Oh, I know. I'll bet he's a big fan of Miss Von Karma, sir. Francisca said that she had come to this airport as a part of an Interpol investigation. Oh, maybe Mr. Hicks had heard she was coming here and she followed her. Detective, I think it's more likely that Mr. Hicks was in fact Interpol agent Hicks. I think Francisca has some explaining to do. You came to this airport to rendezvous with the victim, didn't you? Nonsense! What are you talking about? I found a profile detailing information about you and the victim's luggage. I suppose it was prepared for him so that he could recognize you when he landed. Which makes him not Mr. Hicks, but rather Interpol agent Hicks, isn't that correct? You should have known me to figure it out, Miles. It looks like they got to him first. So you really did come here to receive an Interpol agent then? Yes. Agent Hicks was on the trail of a very large international smuggling ring. He went undercover to investigate this crime, and it was I who put him on the case. I was supposed to receive a call from him on his cell phone once he had landed. I never expected to receive a call about his murder instead. I think we now have pretty definitive evidence that the Agent Hicks came down here to the cargo. Well, what was he doing down here, sir? There's nothing but luggage. Oh, I get it. Maybe he forgot something in his suitcase and came down to get it. Ow! Agent Hicks came for a work-related reason, of that I'm sure. Yes, I'm sure he was here to investigate the smuggling operation he was observing. Francisco, do you know exactly how he intended to pursue his investigation? No, unfortunately I was going to find out from him after he landed. I see, but this raises another question. The normal passenger can't access the cargo hold on their own. Agent Hicks must have identified himself to a member of the crew, and entered the cargo hold with that person who let him in. Yes, and then he was murdered here. These glass fragments and his broken glasses are a testament to that. And then the killer put Agent Hicks into one of those spare suitcases and he entered the elevator. But while they were riding it up, the plane hit that patch of turbulence. Because of the intense shaking, the suitcase popped open and Agent Hicks' body flew out. At the same time, his wallet fell out of his pocket, spilling its contents everywhere. This explains why there were money scattered all over the elevator floor. Didn't make a single mistake. I think it's pretty easy to say who the culprit is at this stage. What? Really, sir? I know what you're thinking, Miles Edgeworth. But the killer can be none other than Miss Rhoda Tenero. Oh, there we go. Edgeworth is like, slide eyes. If I was a crew member, any one of them could have... What the? If she was a crew member... If it was a crew member, any one of them could have shown Agent Hicks to the cargo hold. But the point to keep in mind is the key card that allows the elevator to come down here. The only person with such high-level access is Miss Rhoda Tenero. I'd say that's a pretty decisive piece of information, wouldn't you? I know what she's trying to say, but I'm not certain it's as simple as that. Was she the only one with it? Why would such important things like the keycard be entrusted to only one person?
Accordingly to Canyon Neal, other duties were...
Ah, I understand how you feel, but whipping me just now was uncalled for.
In the end, the only one who could have let Agent Hicks into the hold was Rhoda Tenero.
It's not a single flaw in Francisco's reasoning. However, there must be something I can work with that I can draw out of her. Then I guess pressing.
Hold it!
But it's highly likely that the keycard was stolen from Miss Tenero.
It's highly likely? Oh my god, is that possibility the best you can come up with? And do you call yourself a disciple of my father?
Yes, well, while I don't have evidence,
Be quiet, you're a disgrace. There's more evidence pointed to Miss Rhoda Tenero, you know. It's not just the keycard that gives her... Yes, she's the only person with a key to open that display case.
Key to the case.
Hold it!
That is a fake.
Stop right there, Miles Edgeworth. You don't have any proof that this is just a red herring. If you must keep on insisting that it's a fake, then what is the real murder weapon and where did it go? Speechless, I see. That's not a surprise. After all, you know that we searched the entire cargo hold and came up empty-handed.
It must be a way. There must be something that can help me rule out the piggyback as the murder weapon. Or should be examined further to help us ascertain the authenticity of the weapon. The piggyback? We should examine the pancake itself once more to determine if it's the real murder weapon. If this is a real murder weapon, it should be damaged or perhaps it have a dent on it somewhere.
We've looked into that already and there's no sign of anything on it. But we can't discount it as the murder weapon on that one fact alone. Piggy bank is after all made of a stronger material than human flesh.
Shit. I can't prove it through the piggy bank itself, then I must find another way. Crime scene then? I think we should examine the crime scene in more detail. We might even turn out the murder weapon if we search all the cargo and luggage.
Did you think I hadn't thought of that? Even now we're searching through them. We haven't found anything that even closely resembles a murder weapon.
Damn, I got it wrong twice in a row. I suppose we should examine something else. No! I meant the body the whole time. Francisco, I think you were too quick to jump to your conclusions.
Oh, was I?
Yes, you don't even have the autopsy reports yet. How can I not say that you made a snap judgment when you have yet to even see if the wound on Agent Head's hick... Oh my god, Agent Head's hick. The wound on Agent Hick's head is consistent with the murder weapon.
Scruffy!
Yes, sir!
Contact the medical examiner office at once. I wish to hear the results of Agent Hick's autopsy.
Yes, sir! Yeah, get running, Scruffy. We got a big problem, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. What is it, Detective? They're still doing the autopsy, but they said that they already know this one thing for sure.
Report, now!
The doc said that it's one giant bruise from a beating from his shoulder down to his mid-back. From the victim's shoulder to his mid-back, he was beaten over such a wide area. Well, I'd say it's maybe a sign the killer had a grudge against Agent Hicks. It wasn't just his head, the killer went all out and hit him multiple times, sir.
Scruffy, what is it? Had a grudge against Agent Hicks supposed to mean?
Well, that's, It's the wound on the victim's head consistent with the murder weapon, Detective. Oh, well, they said they were still looking into that, sir.
Completely useless.
Yow! Sir, I told you already, you can't go down there. No, you remove yourself from my way. What is all that racket? Is it him? Yeah. My luggage, my cargo, they're mine and I demand you return them to me. We're still investigating the cargo hold. Please understand and have a little patience. I suppose there is no choice. Finally, I think he gave... Hey, what are you... You've left me no choice but to use strong force. You won't get past me. This is Wait, this is it. So what was this whole? This is that's what this whole thing has been about.
Further, there is the matter of the key to the display case that has held the murderous bank. After all, you know that we searched the entire cargo hold and came up empty-handed.
Doc said it's one giant bruise was beaten from his shoulder down to his mid-back. What do you mean that was wrong? Okay, thank God. Allegedly, the killer struck the victim many times over, which is why there is extensive bruising over such a wide area. Is that really the correct conclusion to draw from the evidence? The bruise from his shoulder to the middle of his back is one continuous mark, which is more suggestive of a single blow to the back. If that's the case, then the piggy bank is much too small to have caused that. Therefore, the murder weapon must be something far bigger. There was no weapon. If we're looking for a rather large weapon, you'd think it would stick out. But so far we haven't found anything that resembles a weapon of any sort. Perhaps, just perhaps, it's something we all overlooked from the very beginning. Because normally it's too impossibly big to be taken into consideration. What was all that about? Was he trying to jump his way down here? Francisca.
What? What do you want?
I found it, Francisca. I found the real murder weapon.
You did?
He really jumped! We didn't realise it until now, but the answer has been right in front of us this whole time. He might be hurt. We should go check up on him, sirs.
It's that pompous attitude of yours again. You should learn to drop that habit.
It's coming from a prosecutor with a habit of whipping everyone she comes across.
Anyway, if you really are a prosecutor, then you'll back yourself up with evidence.
You two aren't listening at all, are you?
Come on then, show me this real murder weapon you speak of.
I don't have any evidence to show you.
Foolish reasoning for a foolish fool from a foolishly foolish fool meant to fool me. What do you mean by I don't have any evidence to show?
Perhaps I should have phrased it as that which caused Agent Hicks' death is incorporeal. Forgive me, but I do believe I've figured out that this was the real cause of death. Free falling. The victim fell from a great height and subsequently died as a result. In other words, the real cause of death is free falling to the ground. He fell
to his death?
Yes, this is the only plausible possibility. The victim had extensive bruising on the back of his head and back. And the only rational explanation for these injuries is that he fell to his death.
But the murder happened inside his plane.
I know.
Are you claiming that there is some place in this plane from which he could have fallen from?
As I said earlier, the answer had been right in front of me, us this entire time. God, my reading today is dreadful.
You can't mean...
Yes, I do. The victim fell from the top of the stairs of this very cargo hold. What? Then... We're in trouble. We may have a second death on our hands, sir. No, he's alright. Hey, you! Tell me you aren't dead, pal. Wyatt, why are you screaming? He's alive!
Well, there you have it, Miles Edgeworth. It's not possible that Agent Hicks fell over the railing to his death. That man is living proof of that.
I suppose it's true that it's not possible given the current circumstances.
The current circumstances? What is that supposed to mean?
Suppose that large piece of cargo wasn't there at the time. What would have happened then? He would have been aboard Gin and Pancake for sure, sir.
I suppose that man over there wouldn't still be breathing. But the reality is that the cargo box is there. So there's no point in entertaining your wild hypothetical scenarios.
It may be there now, but there is no proof that it was always there.
As if there could have been a window of time when that giant box was not there.
Ah, but there was.
What?
What can I use to show her that it's possible that the box was not always where it is now?
Take that!
You refueled in the Republic of Zenfar?
Yes, his flight had a short layover in Dengfa in order to refuel. But that wasn't the only reason for the layover. We also transferred some cargo. What if the box in question was only transferred onto the plane at that time? To further prove my point, let's take a look at what's next to the box in question.
Ah, it's legal Zenfar Express.
Correct, meaning it was loaded onto a plane in Dengfa. Now, what if the box in question was also loaded on at the same time?
It would mean that the box was not here in the cargo hold during the Europe-Zenfar leg of the flight.
Making a teardrop from which Agent Hicks could have fallen to his death entirely possible.
Ah, but your theory is still very far-fetched.
Then allow me to a chance to prove how very likely my scenario is. My first order of business will be to examine that piece of cargo in more detail. This is a rather large piece of cargo.
Hang on it, sir. Let's see. Elif Red Statue. Never heard of it.
Nor I, but all I care about is if we can prove it wasn't here at the time of the crime.
Let's get investigating, sir.
Oh.
Look here. Do not go about touching my possessions without my permission. Ah, don't rush upon me like that, pal.
This belongs to Mr. I take that this is a large piece of cargo belongs to you, Mr. LeBlanc.
Of course it is mine. I shipped this fine piece of art from Europe. This Aleph Red Statue is worth 10 million cents. No, maybe much, much more.
Mr. LeBlanc's reason for choosing this plane must have been the large cargo hold.
10 million cents?
I suggest you stop trying to calculate how many packets of noodles that makes, Detective.
Darn, how'd you do that? I feel like you keep getting better and better at seeing right through me every year.
Though I grow with each revolution of the planet around the sun, I have this distinct impression it continues to madly spin in place. That was a weird line, Edgeworth.
Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, so that 10 million cents, is that in euros or in dollars? Does it really make a difference to our case?
Mr. LeBlanc, there is a chance that your cargo is related to our murder case. I was wondering if you would allow us to examine it a bit closer.
It's a very valuable piece of art, so no, there will not be no touching.
Mr. LeBlanc has something to do with the smuggling room. Then it's possible this fake statue was brought on board in Zengfar. I think I need to question him a bit further. About your statue, Mr. LeBlanc. I wonder if it might be fake.
What? How dare you say my art is a fake?
I suspect that your statue might be the target of an international smuggling ring.
Don't say such fantastical things. Those thieves would not dare. I have certification on my cargo right here.
Do you mean the cargo certification document?
Mr. Zinkler and Blanc, why didn't you say so earlier? Please show it to us at once. I can't read this. What does it say? It says as plain as day that the cargo was put onto a plane in Europe.
There you have it, Miles Edgeworth. Too bad for you. The statue was brought on board in Europe just as it states in the certificate.
No, that's...
Which means that there never was a window of time in which the statue wasn't sitting there. I respectfully disagree, but we can't discount the theory until I see the statue myself.
Then you can have your wish. Look at it yourself and see I'm right.
Yes, I know I've seen it somewhere before.
This is the Isle of Red. It was such a feeling of art, I can practically smell it. The statue has a high amount of historic value. After it was unveiled at a museum in Europe, I brought it to this country to exhibit it.
I believe a closer look is warranted here. So this is the infamous red statue. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Did you see something? Find something. There is something wrong with this picture. We should examine it in more detail. The eyes are not supposed to be yellow.
Eureka!
These eyes are awfully orange, don't you think? Yeah, and pretty. They remind me of sunsets when I was in grade school, sir. I don't think you see what I'm talking about. No, I do, but it's really like the colour of the sun when it's setting, sir. Ah, the memories. I remember standing out in that field, spinning with my arms out until I felt ill. I don't care about sunset. Focus, detective. What colour are the eyes in this photo? Huh? Ah! Sir, they're red! No, as I thought. This statue is a fake. Mr. LeBlanc. What do you want? See, that's not how I'm busy, man. I allow you 2 seconds for your answer. The Aleph red. I suppose this is your pride and joy, is it not? It is the biggest trophy on this European trip. Do you know why I wanted to possess this statue? The trigger started 17 years ago. Better grab a chair, sir. Sounds like it's going to be a long story. Mr. LeBlanc, I regret to inform you, and you have my heartfelt sympathy, but... What is that? Sympathy? For what? You'll see. I'd like you to compare the eyes. That large fellow there has a very bright and pretty eyes compared to you. I wasn't talking about the two of us. I meant the eyes of the statue in front of us and the one in this photo. Why is sudden yelling? Now then. Oh! It's the photo of the statue on display at the museum in Europe. No! Now do you see, Mr. LeBlanc? The statue before us is a fake. Ah, fake! I believe that even further examination will be required, now that we have confirmed that this is indeed a fake. There must be some sort of proof that this was brought on board in Zenfar, and I'll present you evidence that will resolve the remaining contradiction. We will. Well, there's so many things.
Eureka!
This is on top of the blanket. That's very convenient. There was clearly a contradiction here.
What are you going on about? It's just a simple piece of cargo cover getting stuck underneath another piece of cargo. Ah, it's not possible.
But it is. It shouldn't be this way, but the statue is on top of the cloth. Supposing that the neighbouring piece of cargo was brought on board in Zenfar, there is no way that any part of it should wind up under something from Europe. Which means that this fake statue was smuggled on board in Zenfar.
But then what about the cargo certificate?
Let me ask in return, what about Agent Hicks? Why did he come down here in the middle of a flight? There is only one reason why: to secure proof of smuggling activity aboard this flight.
So you say, but I don't believe he had to do that mid-flight. He could have just as easily inspected all of the cargo after the plane landed.
That may be true, however, you have it backwards, Francisco. Sure, Agent Hicks could have waited until after the plane had landed, but he had a reason for coming down to the cargo hold. Suppose he had found the fake at the airport, it would have been after the swap had occurred. At the time, the suspicion would naturally fall upon the statue's owner. He would have no way to prove that the statue was switched without his knowledge, which means that there is someone involved who is forging or modifying cargo certificates. He got scammed. Give me my points back. I guess the victim knew the real version of this was going to get nabbed, huh? Yes. Well, this photo could be seen as nothing more than a simple souvenir. It was in fact taken to be used as a reference document later on. Next, Agent Hicks had to secure proof that the smuggling had taken place. He came down here to take a picture of the cargo hold, a rather empty one at that, right before the fake statue could be loaded on board.
A photo of the holder missing a valuable piece of cargo would have been proof enough. After all he had to do was hold the Zenfar cargo crew and arrest the smuggler.
Exactly, this only goes to prove my theory. If the statue was not in the cargo hold during the Europe-Zenfar leg of the trip, there would have been enough height from which Agent Hicks could fall into his death.
Officer, who Remove this statue immediately. I want a thorough examination of the floor underneath. Now! Miss Von Karma, I'm ready to report my findings. Go on.
After moving the alien red statue out of the way, we tested the area under. Why is it wet here on my floor? Why is my floor soaking wet? Something spilled in here. 1 second. What the hell? Okay, that was weird. Oops. We tested the area under it with luminol and there was a reaction.
I see, there was a reaction to luminol, indication that there was blood at that spot.
We're not looking at it now, sirs. We've seen that my deductions are correct after all.
I suppose it would appear that way.
The culprit cleaned the blood up well.
And how do you think that the killer did that?
How did the killer clean up all the blood? With the cloth.
Take that!
The killer used the body cloth I found inside the suitcase to clean up the mess.
I see, then he had a need...
What?
They had a need to clean up all of the blood before the plane landed in Zhengfa.
Yes, because otherwise the cargo crew would have discovered it during the layover. So you guys are saying that the murder happened before the plane landed in Zhengfa? There is no other conceivable timeline for the events of the murder. But if that is true, then that throws a certain person's testimony into doubt. If the murder occurred before we landed in Zhengfa, then this person becomes highly suspect. Recall Miss Mill's testimony about her Agent Hicks in regard to when we departed in Zhengfa.
I saw Mr. Hicks sitting in his seat at 5 a.m., you know.
She claims Agent Hicks was alive at the time of the service calls, but that totally contradicts the facts, sir.
Well, why would she lie about something like that?
I think the only person who can answer that is Miss Mill herself. Let us continue. She's still falling asleep. When is she going to wake up? Miss Mill. Miss Mill!
Huh?
Do you recall what she said earlier? About when you answered to some service calls as we were departing from Zhengfa?
Huh?
You said that Mr. Hicks was sitting in his seat at that time. However, that is simply not possible. Because Mr. Hicks was dead long before we ever touched down in Zhengfa.
Oh?
Miss Cammy Mill.
Maybe I didn't see what I thought I did.
No one could make her mistake so large, Miss Mill.
But I make that kind of boo-boo all the time.
Ugh.
This is going nowhere. There must be a better way of resolving this contradiction.
Very well, Miss Mill. If you please, tell me about your alibi during the time span. From just before we were to land at 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. when the body was found.
Are you telling me I'm a suspect, Mr. Edgeworth? Oh, yeah. From 3 to 4, I was, in Fire Tenant's room all by my lonesome self. Yeah. Then from 5 to 6, I was, in the Fire Tenant's room all by my lonesome self.
How was a man supposed to react to a testimony like that? Miss Mill, wake up! Ugh. She fell asleep again. It looks like the only way I'm going to be able to wake her up is by pressing her. Boop! Press her on the forehead. Boop!
Hold it!
Miss Mill, wake up!
I'm awake. Miles Edgeworth, I demand that you do something about this flight attendant this instant.
Why else me to wake her when you can finally put that whip to an appropriate use?
Hold it!
If I remember correctly, food was being served in first class and the lounge between the hours of 3 and 4 a.m.
Yeah, but that kind of stuff is run by Miss Rhoda.
Then what were you doing in an attendance room at that time?
Eating and then having a most delicious dream.
You mean you were neglecting your duties?
No way. Sleeping is part of our job too, you know.
Hold it!
Miss Meal, how many times do I have to repeat myself? Wake up!
I'm awake.
Joe, what did you wake me for, sir?
Oh, what did I miss?
Poor detective being on the receiving end of a lash in your stead.
Really? Sorry about that.
You can make amends for that by continuing with your testimony.
Hold it!
So you were all alone the entire time, were you?
Yeah, no one else popped their head in to say hi.
Oh, well, I think a contradiction just popped in to say hi. What should I do? Should I raise an objection? Well, Miss Meal, there is a clear contradiction embedded in your testimony.
Huh? What are you talking about?
It's not possible that you were alone in the attendance room the whole time from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m.
Because...
Why? Why is it not possible? Is it this?
Take that!
I was looking at it and I was like, but I didn't think it was right. But okay, it was right. I wonder if you'd be so kind to take a look at the receipt, Miss Muriel.
Huh? Receipt for what?
It's for the suitcase Miss Tenero bought. Now, if I may direct your attention to the timestamp, as you can see that it clearly says 5:40 a.m. Miss Tenero.
Yes? Huh? Why is the killer here? I thought you'd have her locked up by now.
I requested that she be present as a witness so that we may straighten out your complex lie. Now then, Miss Tenero, between the hours of 5 and 6 a.m., you took a trip from first class down to the first floor in flight shop, correct?
Yes, I went to the shop to buy a suitcase. After which I went straight to the attendance room to drop it off.
And did you see Miss Meal there at the time?
No.
So, Miss Meal, where were you really between the hours of 5 and 6 a.m.? Miss Cammy Meal!
Huh? The bathroom?
I'll be the one to ask the questions here.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I probably just missed her. Nature calls, you know.
You take me for a fool. It's a little too convenient to be true.
But it's the truth. Cross my heart.
I don't have enough conclusive proof to counter-argue her at this stage.
You don't believe me, do you? But please, won't you give me a chance and hear me out? Look, I know you're suspecting me because I'm one of the crew. But do you think that maybe you should also suspect Miss Rhoda too? She's the one in charge of the elevator keycard in the shop, you know. If you ask me, like, it makes her super suspicious.
Please leave Miss Tenero out of the conversation. Only you are under suspicion for now.
I don't get it. Why are you covering for Miss Rhoda all of a sudden? Oh, now I get it. Maybe you got your eye on Miss Rhoda.
Of course I'm keeping an eye on her. I can't very well let her escape now, can I?
Never mind. But you want to know something? Miss Rhoda actually kind of like... I have absolutely no interest in people who can't appreciate my sense of design.
Now's not the time for this sort of talk. Edgeworth was like,
Hold it!
What are you in charge of, Miss Meal?
I take care of the attendance room.
That doesn't count.
But I've spent so much time in there, it might as well be my responsibility. Mr. Edgeworth, Cammy is very talented in languages, so she assists passengers who may not speak English, especially those who speak Virginian. She's the only one on this flight who's fluent. Oh, you mean that kind of what am I in charge of? Why didn't you say so in the first place?
What else could I have meant?
Yeah, so I'm like really good at Virginian.
She's fluent in Virginian. Then I suppose you're in charge of processing documents in Virginian.
Yeah, I take care of anything that has to do with Virginian.
Very interesting. Like forging documents.
Objection!
So, you're the only one on this flight crew that speaks Virginian. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. I studied abroad in Virginia for a while.
If that is the case, then this signature on this document belongs to you, doesn't it? This is a falsified piece of documentation with only one purpose: to lead anyone who read it to believe that Mr. LeBlanc's statue was loaded in Europe. The only person who could have either prepared or processed this document in Virginia is you, Miss Meal. Without your participation, the smuggling of the Aleph thread could not have occurred. Don't sleep while I'm pointing my finger at you.
Well, I wouldn't dream of falling asleep on you, Mr. Edgeworth. It is exactly as you say.
You confessing to have participated in the smuggling?
No, far from it. It's true that I was the one who signed off on that document. But you can't use that fact alone to make your allegation of smuggling stick. There is no direct correlation after all. All you have is my signature on a piece of paper.
Really? All you did was sign it?
I neglected to check if the cargo has been loaded onto the plane properly. So sorry about that.
It seems that she's finally woken up. This is going to be one tough fight.
Suppose, and this is just a supposition, even if I was involved in the smuggling, you can't throw the charge of murder on me just like that.
Objection!
If you were involved in the smuggling, you would have a strong motive to kill. Agent Hicks was in the middle of an investigation regarding a smuggling ring, and just when he was about to close in, he's killed by a member of that ring. Well, did you ever stop to think that maybe Rhoda is the smuggling ring member? After all, unlike me, Rhoda has access to many things on this plane for work purposes.
So perhaps there is some element of a setup at play in this case.
What are you talking about?
Don't worry, I wasn't talking about you, I meant the killer. First, it was myself, and now it's Miss Tenero who's under the microscope. It seems to me that our killer is going to great lengths to pin this crime on anyone they can.
You have no proof that Rhoda is being set up, or that she isn't.
Actually, I believe that she was indeed the intended target from the very beginning. I believe that the plan was to push all of the blame for the crime onto her, and this evidence will prove my suspicions. This proves that the killer was out to frame Miss Tenero from the very beginning. It is to do with the key card that was stolen. Or was it the suitcase? I'm confused. Oh, this. It's a piece of evidence. Oh, that's not going to answer all my questions.
Are you sleep presenting or something, Mr. Edgeworth?
No, as you can plainly see, I'm wide awake.
Then I'm afraid you failed. You were making so little sense that I thought maybe you were asleep.
About a Dr. Sleepy Mrs. Hydesk transformation. Is this it? But wasn't there a piece of evidence that's still unaccounted for? Please stay calm and think carefully and present the condemning evidence. Something that's unaccounted for. The phone? I don't know what it is. I thought it was the... I thought it was the elevator key or... But nothing actually says anything about the elevator. It's either the suitcase or...
Take that!
No, okay. Oh, why am I so bad? Is it the suitcase then?
Take that!
Oh my god. I literally thought it was the suitcase and I was like, the killer could have hidden the body anywhere, and yet they chose the suitcase. Why is that? Perhaps it was to move the body from the lower deck to the first floor. However, why go through the trouble to do so? The only way all of these actions make sense is if the killer had wanted to frame Miss Tenero for the murder. Miss Tenero buys a suitcase on every flight she works on without fail. But should her suitcase be switched with the one containing the victim's body, that would put her in a very tight spot. Unfortunately for the killer, the turbulence put an end to that plan. There wasn't enough time to put the body back into the suitcase. There you go, they made do with whoever was at hand, adapted their plan, and tried to frame me as I lay unconscious on the floor from the turbulence. The killer then went to hide the suitcase in the in-flight shop, and brought the piggy bank back to the elevator in order to fabricate a false weapon. A lot of work for a fruitless endeavour, wouldn't you agree?
Sounds like the killer had a tough time too, huh? I mean, why did the killer need to frame someone that badly anyway?
That is because of the special circumstances surrounding this particular case. What special circumstance dictated the need for the killer to frame someone? Where the murder took place? The special circumstance is simply that the murder took place on the plane mid-flight. No matter which country, custom is quite strict in this day and age. So no matter what you do, the chances that the body will be found is very high. Therefore, there was no choice but to frame either Miss Tenero or myself. In other words, the only one who fits within the boundaries of the criminal's movements is not Miss Tenero or myself, but you, Miss Camille. Only you and you alone could be the killer.
And... Are you done already? I was about to fall asleep again. Anyway, let's be honest here. You don't have anything on me other than a whole lot of circumstantial evidence.
They love saying that. Every time you get them, they're like, it's circumstantial. Yeah. I can see this outline of how the murder occurred, but I have no definitive evidence. And isn't there a piece of evidence that's still unaccounted for? Something that I still can't fit into the big picture. The phone?
Take that!
Why take the phone? I don't have any actual evidence.
I thought not.
But that's because it went missing and still is.
Missing? What do you mean by that?
In the complex puzzle that is this case, there was one piece I kept getting stuck on, and that is the victim's cell phone. Francisca, you were waiting at the airport for a phone call from Agent Hicks' cell phone. Or at least that's what you told me.
That's right.
But Agent Hicks' cell phone could not be found at the crime scene.
You mean the killer took the phone with them?
Precisely. I suspect that if they were to find the phone, it would lead us to the killer.
Come on, get serious. If the victim fell to his death from that height, wouldn't his phone break as well?
We won't know that until we try a little experiment, will we? Francisca, I'd like you to ask for your assistance. You know the victim's phone number, do you not?
Of course I do.
Agent Hicks' phone is ringing from somewhere, sir. I hear it, detective. Now, where is it coming from? Is she holding it? It's Mia. Wake up!
Sorry, Mr. Edgeworth. I gotta sleep, all of a sudden, because it sounds like a lullaby I used to love as a child. Ugh, I'd better find that cell phone fast. We've determined that the real scene is here. All that's left is to catch the killer. Is it in one of the suitcases? It sounds like the phone is up in the flight attendant's room.
You better hurry to the flight attendant's room, sir.
Alright then, it's not even in here.
The ring is coming from somewhere near, sir.
Leave no stone unturned, Detective Gumshoe. We must find it. It's in her locker.
The ring is coming from in here, sir. What? No, it can't be. It's got to be the victim's cell phone. Just whose locker is it, sir?
It's Miss Tenero's.
What?
And that's why she wasn't freaking out. So, Miss Edgeworth, how'd it go? Where did you find that phone? Found it in the flight attendant's room. In Miss Tenero's locker.
What? But...
Rhoda Tenero! I don't know anything about the phone. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Miss Von Kammer, is it? I suggest you arrest Miss Rhoda Tenero right away.
Objection!
Wait, I have a theory. It's related to the incident with the keycard. When the killer went to steal the keycard, they conveniently stashed a cell phone in Miss Tenero's locker at the same time.
Objection!
Is this related to the keycard, all right? In the same way that we have zero proof that the killer did just that.
Nah.
The only voice that sings the truth is evidence. That is the one bird we cannot ignore.
What should I do?
Francisca's right. I can't offer baseless conjectures at this point. Right then, why did the culprit take the cell phone from Agent Hicks? It must have something so very incriminating on it, or in it.
Hold it!
What now, Miles Edgeworth? It's not over yet. We have yet to figure out why the killer took the phone. What? Inside his phone lies the final piece of incriminating evidence that will point us to our killer. We need to examine his phone in more detail. The LCD is broken. Without the screen, you can't even place a call with this. Does it open? Ah, it's a camera lens. Come to think of it, I wonder, how exactly was Agent Hicks planning to preserve the crime scene of a smuggling? Francisca, I need you to confirm something. This cell phone, can it take pictures?
Mr. Edgeworth, I can't believe you don't know about this kind of basic stuff, sir.
This looks like a very similar model to my own, and mine can take photos just fine. Do you think Agent Hicks could have taken more pictures with this? Some pictures? In particular, pictures as evidence for his smuggling case? If so, I'd say there may be some very inconvenient photos in here for our killer smuggler.
But the phone's all busted up, sir.
Even a saber prosecutor can't repair a broken phone.
Ugh, I'll find a way, don't you worry about that.
Oh. May I go back to sleep now?
Objection!
The LCD screens on the inside and outside are broken, that's for sure. But that's also reason enough to believe that a killer wasn't able to erase the data. What? What do you mean by that, Francisca? It looks like our killer isn't very familiar with electronics. His phone still rang when I called it, meaning that only the LCD screens are broken. It's possible that the photos are still there inside, waiting to be accessed. All we need to do is transfer the data to my phone.
Francisca, your phone, if you please.
Very well. It's transferring. Alright, displaying it now.
This is...
Agent Hicks was most certainly trying to obtain some evidence for his smuggling case.
Hey, the alien's nowhere in this pic, sir.
This is no meaning as a piece of evidence in this murder case, right?
Hell, she's right. There's not much we can find out about Agent Hicks' killer, sir.
Is this it? Is this the end? Is there really nothing in this photo that we can use? I don't see anything.
fact that all the suitcases are in the photo are odd.
Agent Hicks was still alive at the time, so what exactly is so odd about suitcases that haven't been used yet being there?
Yes, well, I was only pointing out that things are different between now and then.
Your off-topic ramblings have put this attendant to sleep again, Miles Edgeworth.
I'll give the sleepyhead here a rude awakening, a deafening objection, and a contradiction. What is it supposed to be? Guardrail. It looks exactly the same as it does now.
The thrill is entirely too low. I almost fell to my death. However, I'll save in a miracle-like manner. Perhaps that is what the run away from death by the skin of one's gum means.
How to narrowly escape death by the skin of one's teeth, Shakespeare. Now then, there must be something in this photo. Oh, I can't see it. 1 second, going. Okay, let's get back to looking at this. Boxes of bedsheets. These are still in the cargo folder. There's nothing unusual about them in particular, but I can't shake the feeling.
If you're just paying around, mind if I go home?
Yes, I mind. What exactly is different between then and now? What's all this?
Oh, they're a cargo ship from Virginia to Zingfa.
So the reason they aren't here now is that they were dropped off in Senfar. Mr. LeBlanc, can you tell me the contents of the boxes? Unfortunately, there is no English written on them anywhere.
One class of boxes is written in Virginian. It says, it's cloth in English.
Cloth? Could it be? Is this where the killer...
What? What is for the scary face?
Miss Meal.
Yes?
It appears that Agent Hicks was no ordinary investigator. He left us with a piece of evidence after all. A striking piece that will point out who our killer is.
Ha! Maybe you shouldn't force yourself a mistaken reading of a simple picture, Miss Edgeworth.
Virginian cargo and the piece of evidence will point us straight to the killer. Well,
and what is that supposed to prove?
The killer used this piece of cloth to wipe up the blood they had spilt. But there was one thing that bothered me this whole time. Where did it come from? And now I finally found my answer in this very photo. Oh, only she can read what it says on the box. The cargo that was unloaded in Zengfar had cloth written on it. In Virginian, that is. And this is where the killer grabbed a piece to clean up the blood with. That's right. The killer was someone who could read and understand Virginian. And the only crew member that fits that description is you, Cammy Neal.
Ha! That's pretty flimsy. The killer probably searched through all the boxes looking for something to use. When you're frantic, you don't care if the box is in English or Virginian.
Sorry, but I cannot agree with your assessment of the killer's indiscriminate nature.
What?
There was no need for the killer to tear through the boxes at random at all. And if the killer supposedly could not comprehend Virginian, well then. Logically, the killer would have opened this box first. Bedsheets.
Take that!
Hey, it says bedsheets in English right on that box, sir. Precisely, and bedsheets would be perfect for cleaning up blood, wouldn't you say?
So what are you trying to say?
That if I were the criminal, this box of bedsheets would have been what I would have spotted first.
However, the killer chose to use some Virginian cloth. Do you have an explanation for that?
The killer didn't want anyone to know that the real scene of the crime was this cargo hold, so they were afraid to leave signs that the box for the sheets had been opened. However, the Virginian cloth, well, that's a horse of a different colour.
Because the killer knew that it was going to be unloaded in the Republic of Zemfar.
That's right. That is why the Borginian was used. And the only Borginian reader on board who could make such a calculated decision is you, Camille. You and you alone. It would be very easy for us to confirm if any of the boxes were resealed. All we have to do is contact with Zenfar authorities in time. We may even find other evidence to incriminate our killer within those boxes. So, what do you say, Miss Camille? Why not confess your crime here and now? Or would you rather wait and see what we find out for our investigation in Zenfar?
He was Interpol. I couldn't stop it. I brought him here. He started taking pictures. I couldn't be found out. I was scared. I was in trouble. I.
We're making all arrangements to take the suspect in, sir. Very good, detective. What about the smuggling route? Did she say anything about that? They're taking her down to the precinct now. Hopefully we can get more out of her there. Whenever we approached the topic, she just started foaming at the mouth. It was scary, sir. She probably wasn't prepared to commit a murder all of a sudden. One thing is for sure, the ring behind the whole mess will mean serious business. Looks like there's a lot more to this case than meets the eye.
Mr. Edgeworth, I just wanted to say how much I appreciate everything you did. Thank you very much.
It was nothing. In fact, I should be the one thanking you for your cooperation.
But truly, if it wasn't for you, I might not be here right now. Instead, I can continue to serve our passengers as a flight attendant. I hope that, well, please accept this as a token of my appreciation.
That's...
See, you don't have to take it if you don't want it.
No, I mean, I would never turn down a lady's generous offer.
Oh, thank you. I'm sure it will serve you well. And remember, we here at GoU Airlines are always ready to serve, Mr. Edgeworth.
Thank you, I'll keep that in mind.
Now, I must bid you farewell. May all your skies be blue no matter where you go.
Why did she choose such a horrible colour? I can't believe we wound up investigating the whole day, sir, but boy was it fun. Speak for yourself, my day was filled with earthquakes, elevators and false shots. Oh, she's filling out some custom paperwork for her departure. Departure? Yeah, Miss Von Karma's always really busy, sir. She's been flying from country to country to chase down some leads regarding her case. Detective, can you cancel the car I had you reserve earlier? You got it, sir. Francisca?
I thought I told you when you first landed I have no time for idle chatter.
I have no intention of wasting your time, however, it has been a while since we last met.
I also have no time for such familiar reminiscences. Just who do you think I am? Living her life on the name and fame of her invincible father built.
True, your father Manfred von Karma didn't lose a single case for 40 years as a prosecutor. However, I wouldn't say he was invincible.
What are you talking about? The route I'm on trail of is a little more troublesome than most. The smuggling route we found this time is only one sliver of the big picture.
Sounds like a dangerous assignment.
You really don't have to worry, I can take care of myself.
Yes, I suppose you can.
Plus, there is another agent on this case with me.
Oh, another agent?
He's a star among Interpol agents and has the highest successful arrest rate. Who knows, you may even run into him one day.
I was simply caught up in this one case. I hardly see why we would cross paths.
I suppose. But I doubt he would say the same.
I'm not following you.
You will understand soon enough. The fight has only just begun, Miles Edgeworth. I'll be back in this country soon enough. And when I am, you can be sure I'll pay you back in full.
Just like that, she's gone, sir. Thank goodness, I can finally rest easy knowing I won't have to watch out for her whip.
Said Gumshoe, I want to thank you for all your help and cooperation.
Oh, it was nothing, sir. I was just happy to be able to work with you again. I think I'm going to celebrate by adding a little extra salt to my instant noodles tonight.
Just how much did you cut his salary by, Francisca? Detective, I was wondering if you might give me a ride down to the prosecutor office.
Sure thing, sir. I'll even fly down the road in a patrol car if you want.
Don't make me remind you, Detective. Safety first. Thus, I solved the first case upon my arrival home. Francisca von Karma, the smuggling route she was after. The leaders of that ring had already put their trump card into play. And the players on the other side of this war, they would begin to make themselves known through the next incident. Edgeworth speaking. Finally. I called who knows how many times earlier, but I couldn't get through. And you are? Have you forgotten my voicemails, my boy? Who's this?
Mr. Amonu? Ernest Amonu, correct?
So you do remember me. I don't know who this is. I know it's rather sudden, but Oh, it's the old guy.
I know it's rather sudden, but I can't ask this of anybody else. There's been an incident, Miles. My son has been kidnapped.
And that is how we are ending this episode.